Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I've not been as active since of late, but I'm still around doing my thing. So today guys, I'm coming to give my 2 cents on the Carrion Collins case. Not sure if you guys are aware, for those who don't know her by her name, because a lot of people use the term the burn victim. Yeah, she's a young lady that was lighting her gas stove. So the gas was leaking, and then she continued to, she tried to light the stove and it blew up and she was burned severely. And basically, her family has been asking for donation, which they have received, to help fly her out to the US to get medical treatment. So unfortunately, Kerry Ann died on Wednesday. Now, in this story, I always like to go and read the comments under the Gleaner or the Observer, you name it, or the Loop, just to see what the general consensus is on the matter. Also, I did see a video, the news broadcast with the family members and what they were saying and so on. So I have a lot that I want to bring to the forefront, some of the issues that was presented, and then I'll give my points on it, as there was a lot that was brought forth, especially the fact that there's no burn unit in Jamaica. I'm not really sure why people were surprised about that. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm going to give my 2 cents on that. So let's get into the video. So first and foremost, the whole situation was, it's really tragic. For someone to die like that, yeah, it's weird, especially when I look at times when I've done that. I'm sure I've left the stove running, the gas without knowing, and then thinking that I've lit it, and then coming back and it's out, and then I would light it again, and it's just bizarre when, you look at it and you're like, whoa. So it's a little bit bizarre. Really sad. They always say, what is man, eh? Life is so unpredictable. But in all of this, let's see what we can bring or what we can learn from this situation, I guess. One of the main points, especially the family of Kerry Ann, was complaining about was the fact that there was not a burn unit in Jamaica. Rightfully so. Of course, they're grieving, they're angry, you name it. So that is quite understandable. But what I want to explain, so that's one of the things, and there are a couple more things that I want to bring forward that are really interesting, that people need to understand how things work. And not because Jamaica is a third world country means it can't be, it can't be up to a certain standard, if you put it that way. Now, a few things people don't understand, a country cannot run itself. I mean that in the way of a country like Jamaica, no resources, nothing sustainable. So again, you have some countries that can run itself because it has oil, it has natural resources, you name it. There are things like that. I think like Trinidad, countries like that, they are able to sustain themselves. Jamaica, we don't really have much. We don't really own most of the businesses. We don't own we don't own JPS, so we don't have control over light. We don't have control over most of the essential things that the government should have control of in a country. At the end of the day, I always say that is not a good sign when you have a lot of private companies having to buy out these essential necessities for a country. I just think that should never be in the control of the private sector, but it's the case of Jamaica. We sell everything. We sell everything because, of course, Jamaica is not able to financially run certain things. So that's one of the things. So that's one of the major drawbacks. Now, you're looking at the overall package. So before I go into the troubling truth of the whole fact that our healthcare facilities system, especially the public healthcare system, doesn't really have the proper equipment or the proper facilities to help in case of emergency or something more sinister than just the average flu or cold. Let me explain something to people. A lot of times, how we always say Uncle Sam country, and we talk about tax, and we talk about how when they are foreign, they get tax, blah, 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 blah. Now, in Jamaica, and this is one of the biggest problems, the unemployment rate is so high. And the reason why I'm bringing up this right now is because it's important, because the country should automatically run on income tax. The country should run, the taxpayers is what keeps the country running. Most first world countries, they tax a lot. But I'm going to tell you the pros of tax. I used to see tax as a burden, but it's not, guys. Because a country cannot run itself. And I think once we understand that, we'll start to see and take responsibility for some of the things that is lacking. Yes, I know there's a lot of dishonesty within some of the political arenas where, people just scrape for themselves. But we're talking about how to keep our country running and operating in a functional, in a functional, acceptable way. And acceptable meaning that, they have the proper facilities and equipment to save a life. So tax runs should be able to. Tax is what should sustain a country. But of course, how do you get tax? You get it from someone working, mainly from someone working. The tax you get on food is not that much, but like from somebody working and stuff like that, which means that if you have a high unemployment rate, clearly it's going to be a lower tax. It's going to be lower income tax coming in. So that's one point to raise. People need to start seeing the importance of tax, being taxed, in light of seeing their country or having their country run in a way that is humane and acceptable, and that is going to end up save them in the long run and end up be a cushion for them. But especially those who are working and so on, most people don't want to be taxed. Again, tax is what runs the country. Now, my second point, right? My second point is us, is area that helps a country is the amount of money that comes into that country. For example, and this is something that we all can do, especially those that are abroad. It's something that we all can take more note of, because it's going to help our Jamaica, and it's going to help, again, if these agencies are honest enough to utilize what comes in. That's a different story. But again, it's not just a tax paying or what comes in that's the problem. Again, it's the whole issue of dishonesty and lack of transparency. But looking at people that sends money into the country, that is a huge thing for the economy. That helps your country. When you send money through MoneyGram, Western Union, and you're sending these currencies into your country, it is helping Jamaica. But guess what? We have a problem. Since the scamming came in, there has been so much restrictions on money sending and the limit on how much we send that it's affecting the economy. Scamming is hurting Jamaica because people are unable to send as much as they were able to send before, because new restrictions, you name it. So these are some of the things. So that is why when people see scamming, they think it's just the American problem. No, it's a Jamaican problem, because it's also affecting the economy and the amount of currency that is coming into the country. Now, my final point, which is the most important in all this, Jamaica doesn't have a burn unit. But I don't get, like I said earlier, why people are so surprised about this. There's a lot of things that Jamaica don't have. There's a lot of things that is essential to save in your life that Jamaican hospitals don't have. Unless you're going to have a lot of money to go pay private hospitals, most of the times, even some of the private hospitals don't even have some of the facilities. It is a shocking truth, but let's look at the public hospitals. Jamaican public hospitals don't have most of the, they even said it, there have been documentaries on this where there's not enough equipment that is essential to saving a life in Jamaica. And that is troubling, guys. Because again, a lot of times, a lot of people could have been saved. But because the public hospitals don't have the facilities or the equipment, then they can't. For example, cancer. Breast cancer has one of the highest survival rates overall. But in Jamaica, people die from breast cancer all the time. My aunt even died last year from breast cancer. And again, that is really down to the equipment. That is really down to the treatment in Jamaica. Because if that was the UK, I know so many people who has had stage 4 cancer, breast cancer, and even other cancers, and has survived. But if you're in Jamaica, as them say, and you don't have money, you goose cook. My aunt is on a list waiting to have kidney stones removed. Right? She's been on that list for so many months. Unacceptable. So that's another aunt of mine. And like I said, my other aunt died of breast cancer. And most of these treatments, you have to pay so much. So some people just die because they don't have the money. So these things are just unacceptable, guys. But it's the reality of where we're living. And this is why, you know, I would never give away my yard for abroad. But you have to look at the simple things that we take for granted. Because where I am, you can just go to the hospital, you do your surgery. I had knee surgery and I didn't pay a dime. You can do any form of surgery. Yeah? And yes, some of the surgeries you have to wait for, but you're not sitting down waiting 4 or 5 months for a surgery, especially if it's emergency. If it's something that can wait, they'll probably prioritize. So, you wait. You see, you wait for something is where someone else is in dire need of the surgery more than you. So they prioritize. But if you're more desperate, they're going to put you forward. It's not a comparison, but it's just showing that, it's just showing where we're lacking. And being a third world country is not an excuse. Understand? There's just some things that are not right. You know what I mean? Dishonesty, what is invested in, dishonesty in the country and those that are supposed to govern over us. Number 2, not much investments in the essential things like public service. If people tell you how the public hospital used to look, they're doing little, but it's still not to an acceptable standard. Even where infection control is concerned, even where even the behavior of the work, some of the workers is unacceptable. Because you're getting free care, they treat you like whatever. A lot of people complain and talk about it. The standard, your dignity, everything. Some people get treated in the hallway. These are things that should get more attention, but of course it doesn't. Because the excuse is always there's not enough money. And rightfully so, because Jamaica don't really have much resources, natural resources, or much to live off of itself. But of course, with taxes and all of that. And some people rob the system with taxes. Taxes and all of that. There's so much unemployment that, there you go. And we sell everything. So, shocking, yes, that Jamaica doesn't have a burn unit. But surprise, nah. There's a lot of things that Jamaica don't have. It is bad. It is really bad. And I am hoping that they rectify this, but it shouldn't have to take someone losing their life for us to see this, But we have to also play our part as well. Because at the end of the day, that is why we can't support foolishness like scamming and all that rubbish. Because these are the things that it tears down our country as well, because what comes in the country helps the country. You understand? So these are some of the things. We need to invest more into our country. Those are the things that helps our country. Because when you invest in our country and leave the money in our country, so that hopefully one day, if those that are supposed to govern over us will be honest enough, they will invest what is coming in. Because most of these private sectors, they don't leave the money in Jamaica. They're sending their money offshore. Whenever they make money, especially Chinese, it's going away. Whenever they make money, just go to China. That is why when people talk about, oh, you know, they see China, they think that people talk about, oh, China doing great for us. I don't know about that. Because most of the money goes back into their economy. Doesn't help Jamaica. You understand? Most of their goods come from China. How does that help the country? And this is why people don't understand. To help your country, you're going to shop locally. You're going to buy from the farmers, the produce that comes from the country. That is how you're helping the country. And you're going to keep the money, reinvest the money into the country and not send it back to offshore or wherever. That is how you help the country. So, like I said, it shouldn't take this situation to happen to Kerry Ann for you know, those who going over us to be waking up. That it's unacceptable for Jamaica to not have a burn unit and other essential departments that can save a life or that could save a life. That's my thoughts, guys. You know, my 2 cents on it. Yes, you know, tragedy again, guys, struck. Tragedy. That's my 2 cents on it, guys. You know, it's just not, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Not a good look at all. I really hope you guys have a wonderful day. You know, I hope you enjoy this video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please do share your thoughts, you know, in the comment section. You know, give this video a thumbs up, like, share the video, guys. Bless up yourself. Until next time, Godspeed. Big ups. Bye.